Hey everyone! Welcome to Update X24H, your go-to channel for the latest news, hottest dramas, breaking stories, and all the buzz from the world of entertainment. We're here to keep you updated, entertained, and always in the loop. Hit that subscribe button and join our growing family, because here at Update X24H, we bring you the news that matters, the drama you love, and the stories you can't miss. Thanks for being part of our community. Let's stay connected, stay updated, and keep the good vibes rolling. Imagine standing on the edge of truth, where every heartbeat carries both hope and fear. What if the final moments of a beloved star revealed not only pain, but also unimaginable courage? Today we bring you Shing Fei's revelation about Yu Menglong's last hours, a story that has shocked millions, yet inspired even more. Stay with us because the truth you're about to hear will leave you speechless. Our mission is to uncover the stories that matter, stories of humanity, heartbreak, and resilience. And this time, it's the devastating case of Yu Menglong, whose tragic fate has haunted fans across Asia and beyond. Thanks to actress Shing Fe, new light has been shed on what truly happened in his terrifying final moments. When Shing Fe finally decided to open her heart about Yu Menglong's last moments, her testimony carried a weight that words can barely contain. She did not speak like a celebrity giving an interview. She spoke like a friend burdened with a memory too painful to keep locked away, yet too important to remain untold. As she recounted what she had witnessed, the silence around her became more powerful than any headline, and the world listened with trembling anticipation. According to Shing Fe, Yu Menglong's final hours were not simply the tragic sequence of fear and despair that the public had imagined. They were marked by a quiet resilience, a strength that many would never have known if she had not revealed it. She painted a picture of a man who, even in the face of unimaginable betrayal, refused to surrender his dignity. To her, those hours reflected the essence of who Yu Menglong truly was. A man defined not by fame or controversy, but by loyalty, compassion, and a rare kind of selflessness that shone most brightly in the darkest of times. She recalled how Yu Menglong seemed to sense the storm that was closing in around him. In the days leading to that night, his eyes carried a weight, a stillness that hinted at thoughts he never dared to share openly. Yet, even as suspicion and shadows surrounded him, he chose not to expose others, not to cast blame, and not to cry out for pity. Instead, he carried the burden silently, as if he were determined to shield everyone else from the heaviness that he himself could no longer escape. Shing Fe described this as both heartbreaking and profoundly inspiring. It was the quiet heroism of a man who loved too deeply to let others suffer because of him. One of the most haunting memories she shared was of his final conversations. They were not filled with anger or resentment, as many might expect. They were, in her words, astonishingly gentle. Yu Menglong spoke more about the people he admired, about the fans who had stood by him, and even about the colleagues who had once betrayed his trust. He did not name them with hatred. Instead, he mentioned them with a strange kind of forgiveness, as though he wanted to erase bitterness from his heart before the end. Shing Fe said that listening to him in those moments felt like watching someone polish their soul, ensuring that what remained of them in the world would be remembered not with shadows but with light. And then came the words that Shing Fe confessed she could never forget. As the night drew to its tragic conclusion, Yu Menglong whispered something that seemed less like a farewell and more like a command to the world. Tell them not to be afraid. These words, though brief, carried the power of an entire life's philosophy. He did not ask for revenge, he did not beg for justice, and he did not lament the cruelty of fate. Instead, he chose to leave behind a message of courage. In his final breaths, he transformed what could have been remembered as a story of helplessness into one of strength. To those who hear it now, his words are both a shield and a call to action, reminding us that even when life confronts us with unbearable darkness, we can face it with bravery and dignity. Shing Fe admitted that speaking these truths was not easy. She struggled with the weight of carrying his memory, knowing that revealing these intimate details would break hearts across the world. Yet she also believed that the world needed to hear them, not to deepen the sorrow, but to find meaning within it. By sharing Yu Menglong's final moments, she hoped to shift the narrative away from the horror of betrayal and loss, and towards the resilience and humanity that he embodied. She wanted the world to see not just a victim of cruelty, but a man who, in his last moments, still thought of others before himself. Her testimony also shed light on the unseen struggles of those who live in the harsh spotlight of fame. She described how Yu Menglong carried pressures that the public could never fully grasp. Expectations from fans, competition from peers, manipulation from those around him, and the suffocating silence of loneliness in a world where trust is a rare commodity. His story, as revealed by Shing Fe, is not only about his tragic end, but also about the price of living in an industry where loyalty is fragile and envy festers behind every smile. In this sense, his final moments become more than personal. They become a reflection of the pain many artists endure silently. Yet, within this tragedy, Shing Fe emphasized the extraordinary courage that Yu Menglong displayed. She recalled the calmness in his eyes, the composure in his voice, the deliberate choice to remain protective even as he faced betrayal. To her, it was as if he had rehearsed not just a career in performance, but also the role of being a protector to the very end. That image of him, she said, is what she wants the world to remember. Not the cruelty of what was done to him, but the strength with which he endured it. The depth of Shing Fei's revelation is what makes her account so striking. It transforms the way we view his final moments, from a narrative of helplessness into a story of profound humanity. It reminds us that in the most terrifying situations, the choices we make about how to face them can define how we are remembered. For Yu Menglong, those choices spoke of loyalty, compassion, and courage. Through Shing Fei's words, his legacy has taken on a new shape. It is no longer simply a tragedy that shook the entertainment world. It is now also a story of resilience that inspires millions. Her revelation allows fans across continents to grieve differently, not only with sorrow, but with admiration for the man he proved to be in his last hours. And in that transformation, perhaps we find the most powerful truth of all, that even when life is stolen too soon, the spirit of a person can still leave behind a light bright enough to guide others forward. What Shing Fei's revelation truly accomplishes is more than recounting a painful truth. It reframes an entire conversation about how society treats its artists, and how fragile human trust can be when fame and ambition collide. Her testimony is not simply about Yu Menglong's final moments, but about the cost of silence, the consequences of envy, and the weight of unspoken pain that so many in the entertainment world carry alone. In speaking out, she has not only honored his memory, but has awakened an audience to see the industry and its human toll in a way they never have before. Since her words reached the public, countless fans have transformed their grief into action. Online communities across Asia, North America, and Europe have begun to discuss mental health, exploitation, and the hidden pressures that lie beneath the polished surface of celebrity life. In Seoul, Tokyo, and Los Angeles, vigils were held where people gathered not just to mourn, but to promise one another that they would not allow silence to suffocate those they admire. Messages flooded social platforms, where fans wrote about their own private battles, drawing strength from Yu Menglong's final message of courage. His whispered words, "Tell them not to be afraid," became a rallying cry that transcended borders, turning sorrow into solidarity. Industry insiders, too, have begun to reflect differently. Producers, fellow actors, and even critics admitted that the tragedy has forced them to examine the culture of competition, secrecy, and manipulation that can corrode trust within their circles. The story has shifted from being a single shocking crime to being a mirror held up against an entire system, demanding accountability and compassion where there had once been only silence. For audiences around the world, this is more than news. It has become a call to empathy. By revealing the humanity in Yu Menglong's final hours, Shing Fei has given fans permission to remember him not as a victim broken by cruelty, but as a man who embodied strength until the end. It is a reminder that stories of loss can also carry within them seeds of change, and that even from tragedy, there can rise a movement toward kindness, awareness, and the shared promise that no one should suffer unseen. Shing Fei's courage to speak has given the world more than shocking details. She has given Yu Menglong's memory a voice that reminds us that even in the darkest of hours, humanity, compassion, and truth can shine through. Perhaps that is why this story continues to resonate so deeply across generations and nations. If this story touched your heart, please consider subscribing to Update X24H. Every share, every comment, and every follow helps us bring you the stories that truly matter. Thank you for watching, and remember, stay informed, stay inspired, and never stop seeking the truth. We'll see you in the next video.